As this deployment went on, I realized that although the news had a lot of stories about what was going on over in the Middle East and what our unit was doing in Afghanistan, they really didn't seem to be telling the stories of the women who had been left behind, the wives, the mothers, the girlfriends. And I wanted to tell that story. What I didn't expect was how similar our experiences would turn out to be.
We've been dating for about 6 years. I met him in high school, so I've been with him through the whole process, from boot camp to SOI. He joined the Marine Corps. We talked about it. I was a little nervous, but I'm very proud of him. He did make me this bracelet before he went over to Afghanistan. It's made of some cording that they have, and actually the button from one of his pairs of pants. And he's got one that matches, and so he made me promise that I would not take this bracelet off until he got back, and he wouldn't take his off either.
Greg had been asking me to marry him for like 2 weeks. And then I got married in, capri jeans and a flowy tank top and sang the SpongeBob SquarePants song during my vows so that I wouldn't cry.
All right, so it was the day after my birthday, 25th birthday. Drove down to DC to go to an auction for my house and bid on the house, whatever, won the bid. And as I'm waiting to go over to the lender's table, I get a phone call. I'm like, oh my God, I think it's Ness. 808, okay, that's gotta be Ness. So I run outside, he calls, I'm like, hey babe. He's like, what are you up to? I'm like, just kind of bought a house. And he's like, okay, really?
My grandfather served in World War II in Iwo Jima. This is my mom, and it was her dad who served, so you can tell about your dad.
My dad was only 17, and he had to get his mother to sign for him to serve in the military, and he specifically wanted to go in the Marines. And then my husband served for 4 years during the Vietnam War.
And then I married a Marine who served 8 years. He served in Desert Storm, and was glad when he was back home. So this is our second deployment because our son, Joshua, is in Afghanistan. And so looking forward to him coming home. He is married and has a daughter named Ava, who he's only spent 20 days with.
I went through some of the most difficult times in my life during this deployment. I found out that a friend of mine has stage 4 colon cancer, and I lost my grandmother. These are things that would have been difficult even had my husband been home with me to support me. But having him gone and not being able to talk to him about it made it a lot worse.
And people didn't really understand that I'm a pretty emotional person, so I would get worked up even just talking about him sometimes. And people were like, oh, it's just, he'll be back. It's not even a year. It's just a year. It's fine. And they don't realize everything that goes on in a year.
Yeah, I know exactly what you're going through. My boyfriend went away last weekend for a business trip. Like, how many times did you talk to him on the phone? Every night? Really, I haven't talked to my husband on the phone in 3 months.
I think the first time that a couple of the guys died when they were over there, hearing the news, I broke down. And although I knew it wasn't Jason, it was just so upsetting because it made it that much more real that it could be Jason.
Unless you have a family or a friend, you really don't understand, because they'll say, oh, it's just 6 months. A lot happens in 6 months. Like I said, my son has only been part of my granddaughter's life for 20 days. When he left, she was 2 months old, and she's since gotten her teeth, and she's crawling, and hopefully she doesn't walk before he gets home.
People were like, why are you so upset? It wasn't him. He's fine, like you don't understand, it could have been him. I was very grateful it wasn't him, don't get me wrong, but I was upset.
There were times when I felt like I wouldn't make it through this deployment. But inevitably, Sherry or Bridget would call, and I would remember that they were going through the same thing and that we had each other.
just knowing that there was the two of you there to help me out was, you know, yeah, enough to get me through some of the days where I thought that this deployment is never going to end.
And one of his friends who's also in the Marine Corps, he's been over twice. He's out now. And it was good to talk to him, and he was there.
So, yeah, that's helped. Knowing that you're not alone. That's what really does it. Yeah.
And then finally, the day came when we got that email from the family readiness officer telling us that our boys were coming home.
I'm really proud of him. I'm really excited for him to come home. I'm excited to see our relationship evolve, I guess. It sounds kind of dorky, but I haven't seen him in a long time.
It's gonna be like we're gonna meet them again. It is. And it's gonna be also like we can go on first dates again and be all giddy and like, oh my god, is he gonna like me? And first kiss.
And I would just like to thank all of our men and women for serving our country. That it does mean a lot to us. And your parents, your family, and your friends, your loved ones are very proud of you.
3 of our boys didn't make it home this time. And as happy as we are that our men did make it home, we'll always remember the 3 that didn't.